All right. So we're on.
We'll come up with a goddamn name, and we'll come up with a...
It's not.
I think
It's not the Four Horsemen. Because
Welcome to the Four Horsemen.
Not the name because
All right,
we're
there.
all married men.
Yeah,
There's
we
only
are.
3 of us. There's a lot of problems with that name, and I feel like that's too generic of a name.
Yeah, that's why I like the
Also-
Killer Threes.
The Killer 3 is a little inside. I don't know why that's a little inside compared to other names of the possibilities. I'm okay with I don't know, a more off the wall kind of a name. More, but like I said,
You want to
like I
go
said,
with Off the Wall? That's the name. Off the Wall.
I think no, that's more of a.
Hi, I'm Grant. By the way, I'm Grant.
Oh, are we doing? Oh, we're go.
Are we doing real names?
Hold on,
Like,
go.
wait.
My name's not Grant.
Yeah.
You're the guy in the center. I feel like you should actually start us
Yeah, you.
All right,
yeah.
so
in
let's-
some way. So,
So this is not Grant. And
Not
that's,
Grant.
And that's not Julian.
hi.
And I'm sure shit not Greg.
Yep.
Right.
All right. Now that you got that out the way, we're going to sit here and talk about the shit we always talk about, and that's some wrestling.
And I'm gonna get this out of the way too.
Mhm.
I feel like that this is gonna turn into. I'm just gonna make Julian try to convince me on why I need to start watching wrestling again.
Oh, we the Threebirds.
I
The
once
Threebirds?
said- I once
We're
said
the Threebirds.
for
Yeah.
6
The
episodes.
The fabulous Threebirds.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's look it up.
Look it up.
The fabulous Threebirds. That actually,
That's not bad.
shit.
Yeah, that's all right.
Fuck, that came out of nowhere, like
All right.
just off the text.
We're gonna.
Nope.
It's gonna be cool. So
That
instead
is
of
what we are right now.
We are
All
the
right, sweet.
fabulous
As of
Threebirds.
right now,
fabulous
we're the
three
fabulous
birds.
Threebirds.
Heck yeah! So Confederate flag shirt
No,
on its way,
no,
guys.
no.
You ready? All right.
All right.
Do you want to do an actual introduction?
Yeah, welcome to the fabulous Threebirds.
I'm not Grant.
And I'm not Greg.
And I am not Julian.
Are you sure?
No.
Welcome back. We are the fabulous Threebirds. Well, actually, it's 2 birds right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think we're back in it with Grant and his lawyers, and
Man,
I don't know what's going on, but I thought we had this resolved, and it's not resolved, obviously, because he's not here, and according to the letter we received, he will not be here until certain things change.
Yeah, well, he keeps storming into my dressing room and wondering why he's catching this smoke. You know what I mean? But I think we all know from recent events, you don't just storm into a man's, room when he's like, changing.
Well,
Shit.
okay, so did he storm in the same way the Buck stormed into CM Punk's dressing room after he
No, I
spoke?
mean, it's possible that the door was unlocked and slightly cracked open and suggestive with a note on the outside, but he still shouldn't have come in. He should have realized that it was a trap. And
Okay.
just,
So
either way,
so this leads us into this. Hold on. Everybody and their mama has sat here and discussed this whole CM Punk press scrum, and everybody has given their opinion on exactly who was right, who was wrong, yada skippy, how you should handle it. Okay, I understand. Let me just go on record.
I have a bubble. Yeah,
Well,
I have a
yeah,
bubble
let-
opinion of the whole
let-
thing.
Yeah, let me go on the record and say, in this particular case, from the information that was presented, I would literally side on the side of CM Punk here, only because he was defending himself, his name, from what seems to be a lot of false allegations and accusations, and the time he chose to defend himself might not have been the best time, but what is considered the best time in that scenario or in that case? So I'm kind of on his side. Now, people would say, and I'll let you go here in a second, people will say, well, he was being a dick. He was being an asshole, and he made Tony look bad. Okay, let me explain something to you that I learned a very long time ago. You can't make somebody else look bad if they're really as powerful as they say they are, because they will ensure that you do not make them look bad. That's how powerful people roll. Now you could take that for whatever way you want to take that. Tony may be a nice guy, he may be a good businessman, but in that scenario, he looked like he was out of his element, and that's a sign, especially when you're the boss. When you're the boss, everybody is supposed to be confident in your decision making as to whatever decision you make. They may hate the decision you make. They may hate you as a boss. They may hate a lot of things, or they may like a lot of things. But one thing that they do know that they all share is the respect of your position. Now, if you sit there and say CM Punk didn't respect his position and bit the hand that fed him, I would reverse that on you and said that was a mutual agreement. He's feeding that company the way Tony is feeding him a paycheck. Now, does Tony need the money? Probably not. But does everybody else in that room need the money? In that locker room need the money? Probably so. And therefore, he was sitting there and schooling a lot of people on how the business should be ran versus how that business was being run. And look, a lot of people do this on a regular basis in corporate America all day long, and they get jobs by doing that. And they keep jobs by doing that. And they get better jobs and promotions by doing that. So if you want to sit here and suspend your belief all the way through corporate America and say, well, he wasn't supposed to do that, like bullshit. Bullshit. He did what he needed to do. So there is no ifs, ands, buts about it. Okay, go.
Well, I echo a lot of what you said there. It's the thing is that we're still getting like details. So in the moment, I'm gonna say that yeah, he made some good points, but you know, I think that first and foremost, you got to stop doing these media scrums. I
Yeah,
think that
they're not. They don't
they're
end
not
well.
they haven't helped. The last three of them have not helped. You definitely do not. You know, the WWE was only doing them for WrestleMania and like SummerSlam, kind of. And there were years where they didn't do. I can't recall them having any so-called actual media scrums or whatever. You know, they would have a version of that that resembled that. That they controlled the shit out of, by the way. Like, you know, you didn't see like footage just leaked on. You'll never see the WrestleMania media scrums put on YouTube, you know, like for everyone to see. Like that hasn't happened. I do recall like some of them being they were really interesting. Like one of them that really sticks out for me is back in the day, they did one for one of the worst WrestleManias, WrestleMania 11, with you know, LT and Bam Bam Bigelow. And because they had LT, they wanted it to feel more sports like, and it was like, let's do a media scrum. And then you had like a serious in character sit down press conference with Bam Bam fucking Bigelow. And if you haven't seen this, like he refers to himself in the third person. It's like the most serious mic work that Bam Bam Bigelow ever did in his entire career. Was at this media scrum, but it was all in character. And then they've had some, you know, in the recent years where Triple H goes out and works the crowd, works the press the way he does, which is so great that he's in this position now to do that. And Triple H, I'm going to get to him again in a second, but Triple H knows how to do these things. And Tony Khan does not at all. He rambles. He goes on and on. He doesn't sound like he knows what his message needs to be. You know, I respect the hell out of Tony Khan for like what he's doing in general. I don't. That's regardless of his creative decisions. I think he's too erratic with his booking and his changes, and you know how we've said the steady hand now seems to be in the WWE, and the sporadic, you know, kind of senile old man booking seems to be in AEW at the moment. And I will praise his changes as a result of these suspensions and all this fallout that he's done. I think he's accidentally booked very well. But yeah, the guy just can't, he shouldn't do these scrums anymore ever again. They should just be on total fucking hold from now on until everyone can conduct themselves properly. I think CM Punk made a lot of good points. I do think that it's kind of bullshit that he kind of buried this company while he's bitching about people burying the company. I do think there's a lot to his bad reputation as being toxic in a locker room. And to get back to Triple H, they posted, it's been posted, the infamous mic work at the little contract signing with CM Punk, however many years ago, almost 10 years ago now, where he basically ranted on Punk and laid out kind of what his attitude is. You don't care about change and like what's good for business. You just care about what's good for you. That happens to be a little bit more hand in hand in AEW because he's the actual biggest draw, but it's still not good. Like, I can't, I'm a shy guy and I want to be a CM Punk guy, but I also got to call a spade, man. And that dude can be an asshole. I don't know if he should have really, let Hangman Page get to him this badly. I think that I want to know if he tried to deal with this internally.
Here's the thing, and this is the part I don't know, so this is all pure speculation on my part, but here's the thing. I believe that he probably tried to handle the Hangman Page thing internally, and they did not address it or take it seriously enough. Now, there have been people all across the world that have worked for companies that sat there and said, "Hey, there's a problem here," and went through the proper channels and told them these are the problems, and they fell on deaf ears. So I just think if he was trying to play nice, and we know the type of guy he is and how he could be an asshole and how he could literally, because he's great on the mic, bury the company, like you said, bury the company whilst talking about other people burying the company. I think he bit his tongue long enough, and we witnessed the backlash. We didn't witness the, hey, he tried to do it right, CM Punk part. And I think that plays into it though, because we always see this CM Punk. We always see the asshole. So we're just like, he has a history of being an asshole. Well, Triple H has a history of being an asshole. Shawn Michaels has a history of being an asshole. Like,
hold on. Within that promo, the infamous promo, I wish I could, whatever, link it or whatever. But it was posted. It's been posted. It's been reposted on several different websites at this point. Not necessarily WWE, but Triple H's promo where he said, he admitted he's an asshole. He was like, but at least I do it to people's faces. Like, I say it to them. I say, I'm going to go through you. I'm going to go over you. I'm going to work harder than you. Like, it was a really, kind of a motivating.
Let's ask Brett about that. Okay.
Brett, hold on. I don't know about Brett, but maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, let's ask Brett about that.
Is Brett a good source of information right now? Is Brett a good source? I don't know.
I just know when they did the documentary, Triple H is in the documentary literally pretending like he had no idea about the whole thing to, at that time, Brett's wife. So I guess that's Brett's first wife. Like, literally, it's on tape. And then later, he's, his position about that whole thing and agreeing with Vince about Brett screwed Brett kind of sounds like you knew. You played along, but you knew. So when you say he says it to your face, it's on tape that it always. Now, granted, he was a lot younger then, so the new Triple H might say it to your face. But the whole point is, technically, I believe, and this is the part I don't think a lot of people get. Technically, Punk will say it to your face. You know, that's the thing. This guy, what we're saying is we don't like the guy. We don't like Phil. Phil is going to say it to your face, and Phil's going to say it on the microphone, and Phil's going to say, Phil doesn't give a shit about, that's the thing.
I mean, I like Phil, you know, but still, like this idea that he doesn't have good chemistry with this, and I could definitely see when you look at like some of the reactions from the Bucks and Omega, like the stupid video that Omega made where he's like he's like a kid, he's like 38 years old, and he's my age, and he's like, making a goofy video where he's reacting to the you couldn't manage a target line from CM Punk. You know what? Honestly, it's kind of challenging to manage a target, so like, so like he picked a decent narrative there, I guess, or whatever to go with, or decent quip to say. But
I think that was a double-edged sword that Punk was doing there, because yes, it's very difficult to manage a target. What he's saying is they're not people persons. They don't know how to effectively and properly communicate to their staff. That's what he was trying to get out. Because to manage a target, you have to be super efficient. And you literally, like the way that place moves, you definitely have to be a great communicator. You have to be efficient. You have to make sure that things are in place. You also have to make sure that you are the forefront, and maybe you sacrifice a little bit more than the rest of your staff because you are in charge. What he was saying is that's not these guys. They are exact opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. They've never had a real job, and they've definitely never been in. And I mean that. Fucking being just a wrestler, man, is a fucking weird job. Don't act like it's a job. These people are weird. That's part of why Ronda Rousey is fucking weird and like not adapting to anything. She's never had jobs. She's never had to like work with a team and all that shit in real life. It's always been combat sports related, this, that, since she was a baby. And, honestly, the Young Bucks, and God bless them, they're one of those like lifelong dedicated pro wrestler people. But it's like Sean Waltman. Sean Waltman's never had a fucking job, dude. Like, he's just been a wrestler his whole life. And it is a career. It's a thing once you get into it. But you do not get the people skills and the skills that you need to be like an EVP of a thing that has actually got money behind it. Even if it is wrestling, like you're in a position of authority and management and whatnot. And they don't have any experience in that shit. So the gall of them, and the line that really got me was that, Hangman Page to Lump Heyman saying he doesn't take advice. I get CM Punk getting really mad about that one. And there's been a lot of backlash about that line because that's not good. That guy could be very good at wrestling and everything. And to say that is just ignorant. It's just immature and really ignorant. Like it's just not the way you do anything. You always want to take advice.
Right. But he's following the leader or the leaders. He's following his friends. And if his friends don't take advice and his friends don't sit there and listen to older wrestlers, you literally give them and school them about their business so that they could survive and actually be great at it. If they don't do it, then he's going to sit there and not do it. My only thing with Hangman Page is like, if this was between the other three people, how the fuck did you jump into it? And why did you jump into it and decide to do it on air? This is the part where I'm saying I'm in the CM Punk side of things. He decided Punk didn't go out in the middle of the ring and sit there and quote unquote pipe bomb us again with all this shit. Punk did his job. Adam Page chose not to do his job, but to go into business for himself. If I'm CM Punk, I'll be very upset about that. Because clearly this guy doesn't give a shit. So why are you berating me about how I sit there and say he don't give a shit? The people can already see it. I'm saying shit that they can already see. I'm not breaking any news here.
No.
And
no,
yeah,
so to get to the reaction by Tony, which I thought, and this is what we haven't given our thoughts on either at all, is the reaction. So the decision by Tony Khan, I think it honestly, this was, unfortunately it took all this to make this happen, but it made for one of the better Dynamites they've ever had, one of the better openings for the show in its show's history. I think this is kind of like, you're not going to forget this one. It stands out. I think there was a really good decision to keep Tony Khan out of the ring and just do a pre-recorded message. This is exactly how the fuck he should do everything. It just should be little Tony popping up, and you know what? It doesn't have to be the first take, man. It can be like, you can do a couple of them. Like, let's get him to get a little better in front of the camera, but let's do pre-recorded stuff for him, and let's give him some fucking guardrails. And he made. I was actually a little bit surprised that everybody got suspended. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what he was going to do. I didn't know if he had the spine to do anything, to be quite honest. And so he strips everybody of their titles. The trios title stripped, the world title stripped. A tournament made. A good bracket for the tournament, in my opinion. I think he booked it really well as far as, like, who's going against who. Trios tournament or what? I don't even know what the fuck's going on with the trios thing or what's happening. Like, Orange Cassidy and the dude maybe became the trios champ. I could give a shit less about that title, to be very honest.
That's what I was about to say. They should just go back to calling it a 6-man tag. I swear to God. If they did, it would be better, because then a lot of other folks could follow. Because, like you just said, I don't know what's going on with it. That clearly came out of your mouth, and you follow it. You follow it. It's not, you're not a quote unquote pass or buy fan who just so happened to land on the channel. That's what I'm saying. If you can't understand what it is, ain't no way in hell the average person that might lay eyes on the product one day, just passing through, would understand enough to stay.
It's a very unattainable title to have in a promotion. I mean, it is, it works in AAA because that's just their tag titles. I don't know if they used to do it in Michinoku Pro. Michinoku Pro, man, back in the day, was super fun. It was a short-lived promotion, but it was essentially a luchador-style booked Japanese promotion. It was fucking great. And it obviously that's where Taka Michinoku came from. And, like, pretty much all the guys you loved in the Attitude Era from Japan were in Michinoku Pro. Bunch of video game, faces pop up in that promotion. Great Sasuke or Grand Sasuke and on and on. Anyway, those places, that was just their tag titles, is that they had 3-man tags and they were fun, and that was like their gimmick and whatever. So, but now, I don't know. So actually, I'm remembering now. So on that episode of Dynamite, they did have Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends against the Death Triangle. Death Triangle are your trios champions. So very appropriate to have your luchadors actually hanging on to a luchador style fucking tag title. Whatever. So moving on. I think that's fine, I guess, for that shit. But so this tournament, it's looking like, right now they've played it out a little bit, and where we're at for Rod Laver Stadium is the finals, and it's Bryan Danielson against Jon Moxley. And I want to give Jon Moxley a lot of credit for his promo on Dynamite, because fuck, he did a great job. He had a promo for the ages for himself, discussing the whole situation, but doing it in a kind of cloak and dagger kind of way. Not, keeping it story oriented, not getting too businessy with it. So, which showed some restraint.
Wait.
It was good
because of what you said about the promo. Let me ask you this. So, what do you make of MJF?
Right. So he cut off MJF, who was essentially promoting on whoever was going to win. And
right, but MJF said some things.
He said some shit about Moxley. No. I think MJF's promos are great.
But
he can,
but he said some things about the company.
well, you know, this is going to be tough to divorce myself from remembering the short-lived ECW invasion angle of WWE. It's hard because this, to me, is a more sophisticated version of Mr. Monday Night Rob Van Dam when he was calling himself Mr. Monday Night in ECW. Because he and Sabu and Bill Alfonso, their gimmick for a while that was going on was that they were going to jump ship, and the crowd just fucking hated them. And so I think they're playing up on that. MJF has expressed his Paul Heyman love in the past.
Yes,
Paul
but
Heyman guy.
but in this particular time period, if
Well,
the wheels are coming off the bus all the way to the point where sponsors and
yeah,
do you stay true to form the character, or do you minimize it? That's
yeah.
the thing, because I
Probably
would
minimize, because they did stop doing it. The whole "we're going to WWF" thing that stopped. It had to stop. It really didn't even last that long for the ECW guys, especially because essentially, Rob Van Dam turned into a babyface immediately after, and it was like he just was a long reigning champion, and he eventually became the main event of ECW for the last 2 good years, the money making years, the TV deal years. That was all Rob Van Dam. And I mean, it was a whole product, but Rob Van Dam was on the top. And yeah, so he had to drop that and kind of go back to being a loyalist. So I don't know. I don't see MJF going babyface, which would chill this whole thing out, and he would probably never talk like that. But
no, I'm just saying, with the promo
maybe Tony Khan goes heel.
yeah, with the promo that Moxley gave, and with the promo that MJF gave, and with the actual truth that Punk gave in the scrum, I'm saying MJF is not far off from CM Punk.
Yeah.
In how he reacts, in how he delivers, in how he is, quote unquote, backstage. Like, it's very, very strange that people go, well, oh, he's an asshole, he's an this. MJF has been known to be a complete asshole.
Yeah. Shit.
So
but it's also, he's put up a lot of smoke and mirrors because it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, and are people just saying that to kind of
but that's what I'm saying. One can deliver possible money. One did deliver money. Like, no matter what we say of him handling it properly or whatever, CM Punk delivered money. He put butts in seats. There is no way, shape, or form you can deny that.
Yeah, that's why he brought up the biggest gate, and he was bringing up some very salient wrestling business points in his rant.
But he did it. But he did them in a very coherent manner. Tony would bring up those same points, but be all over the goddamn place.
Yeah, prettle much.
I mean, those would be points that Tony would bring up.
And he was kind of human shielding / almost bullying Tony Khan a little bit in that thing.
Well, yeah, I think he wanted Tony. What he was trying to do, it sounds like what he was trying to do is make sure Tony didn't step in anything that he could not step out of.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to literally almost what it looked like was bullying, but take over all forms of communication at that moment in time. I think he was literally Yep. I think he was human because he knows the position also that Tony's in. You see because people are like, he wasn't being professional. He was being very professional. At the time, he's sitting next to a guy who he knows is like damn near best friends with these guys that he's talking about. He could have literally been like, I don't trust you either. He did not. Yep. He did not. And he protected Tony in somewhat of a way. Now, did it seem brash? Yes. That led me to my first point as we started the show. It seemed very brash about it, but he knows how Tony can get. So in that scenario, he did what he needed to do because Tony can get to rambling and go all off the subject or go further into the subject and not make the situation look or sound any better.
No. Well, so the booking decision, so we discussed, the trios title no longer on the Elite. It is on the Dark Death Triangle, whatever, the Death Triangle. So the Death Triangle is, are the trios champions now for whatever that's worth. Quickly, they did have a match, at least the Lucha Brothers went against Swerve and Our Glory on Rampage, and they had this cockamamie spot where Keith Lee took the Canadian Destroyer, and I know I heard people I didn't see it, and I heard some smatters that people talking smack about it, like how dare you make such a big man do such a silly move, and then I saw the spot, and the physics are still not exactly there. They're cartoonish, video game-ish, but it didn't look that bad. So, whatever. But, if you haven't seen it, it's kind of a cool spot. There's a bunch of shit. It's a Lucha Brothers action movie spot. That's what they do. If you like it, you like it. I like it sometimes. Anyway, so then the tournament and the rest of Grand Slam is, the finals are Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. So that's the rest of the card. The only thing of real interest, it's like a kind of a good-ish kind of super card that you would definitely do in between your more meaningful events. Is what it looks like. Pac versus Orange Cassidy is a fucking weird match. One of the cringy booking things is Chris Jericho might fucking win the Ring of Honor World Championship against Claudio Castagnoli. Yeah. So that's a thing. That match could be good. Well, let's give it a chance. I'm going to give it a chance. It's got a chance. I don't know. The one fun match that I'm excited about, there is Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara. That's all right. Whatever kind of real life beef they have, they're both fucking head cases. That seems to be very clear at this point. And Sting and Darby Allin against House of Black. Yes, Malachi Black has left AEW, and he may have left wrestling. There's talk of him being cited at WWE related events. It's like, well, his wife, he's married to.
Well, that's what I was about to say. His wife is there, and could he be quote unquote leaving wrestling? So somehow that's a way out of, I don't know how many years he had left on his contract, but at some point in time, is this all legal play for him to just go back to being Alistair?
I think so. And they did trademark House of Black the day he was released. And he has been released on what they call a conditional release. So usually that's at least a 6 months non-compete kind of a thing. And then maybe he will not be able to use Malachi Black, but it wouldn't matter. He would just be Aleister Black, which is kind of better name anyway. So I don't know what his original ring name was, maybe, but Aleister Black is kind of what everyone knows him as a little bit more anyway. So see what happens with that. He was looking pretty good at the end of his WWE run, I thought. It was looking kind of cool, and then he kind of did like a half-assed version of the same thing, but with high fashion in AEW. And I thought House of Black had a good entrance. I don't know. Whatever. It's over. But they're still around. So House of Black is Buddy Matthews, because that name just brings terror to your heart. And Brody King against Sting and Darby Allin. No disqualification match. So something stupid's going to happen with Sting. Get ready. That's on Rampage. There's going to be a gold ticket battle royal. No idea. Future AEW Championship match. So we have a second. This is bullshit, I think. You basically got a second version of your almost Money in the Bank thing. So who's going to win that? You know what I mean? It says AEW World Championship. If you win this battle royal, you have a golden ticket. just like MJF. That doesn't make any sense.
So yeah, again, this is their Money in the Bank. They call it the golden ticket, but
what's the other thing? And what's the donut? What's that golden donut?
Yeah,
the fucking Sonic Power Ring or whatever. The Wardlow one. He won like a whoopee cushion, and that was worth a shot.
So yeah, okay, explain that to me because I didn't understand that.
Well, he used it to get the TNT title, basically. So he went for the secondary belt.
So they have a Money in the Bank type of deal for each one of their titles. That's going to be confusing.
that one was for any title you want.
Oh, okay.
This one is for the world title. This golden ticket's for the world championship.
But that's what I'm saying. You have the donut and the chip and the ticket.
Yeah,
it's confusing.
Maybe the donut is the chip, and it's been long enough that it got changed to the chip, and that's it. But they definitely have more than one type of Money in the Bank like thingy. So, all right, whatever. I don't think you should have more than one of those. Yeah, Pac is going against Orange Cassidy for the AEW Atlantic Championship. So I don't mind them having essentially their European title, but I just don't think they should do the Ring of Honor thing at all anymore. It just rings of like having NWA and WCW back in the day, or NWA and WWF. It's a dead brand, and it just never really matters and doesn't work out. It's weird. It's just more titles and more mess. The one undercard thing I'm excited about is Action Bronson and Hook against the Jericho Appreciation Society. I have a feeling this is going to be really good. And I love Action Bronson. And I think that these little promos and these little segments that he's done, he looks fucking good. He sounds good. He lost a bunch of weight. He's been in shape. He's been doing these crazy workouts. He's a really fucking interesting motherfucker. And he's good business because he does have a big following. And I'm a fan for life. And I think it's cool. And he does do Hook's music. And I think it's cool. And I think if he comes to the ring rapping and shit, oh, man, it could be really good. Man. Anyway, I'm excited about that match. Anyhow, then they're going to be doing another like 4-way dance for the women's title. Toni Storm, Serena Deeb, Athena, Britt Baker. I don't know. Toni Storm probably win. Maybe Britt Baker heals it up and wins. That could be interesting. Swerve in Our Glory goes against the Acclaimed for the tag titles. This is a chance to have the happy ending that you didn't have at the pay-per-view that everyone thought you should have. So I expect this to be mediocre-ish, but to good match, and that the Acclaimed will win. And then,
okay, so
who do you think is going to win?
Well,
Bryan Danielson or Jon Moxley?
Wait, before you get there, so you do agree that the Acclaimed should have won?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I was just wondering.
The match was ridiculous. It was good, but I have to give it, if we're grading it or whatever, I have to downgrade that match because the ending was just fucking ridiculous. It was just too many. It was too early in the show to have that many. It was crazy how many near falls they had. And they just lost all fucking meaning after a while. And it irritated the audience. Like it was so many that it irritated everyone. And then the unhappy ending happened. And it was like, their finisher is great. Keith Lee and Swerve's thing, their powerbomb stomp thing is crazy. I never thought I would see that move. It's really cool. And it does kill you. So you should stay down. But shit. I don't know.
But they should have read the room.
Yeah, they should have changed it up, figured out something, got a message down the ring, figured it out. Anyway, I guess they're from New York, so it'll be another hometown chance or some shit. So Bryan Danielson against Jon Moxley. Who do you have win? I think you have Bryan Danielson win. Go forward with your business.
I believe Bryan Danielson is the best choice to basically hang your business on moving forward. He will not necessarily jeopardize your business by doing random little indie shows that mean nothing to anybody outside of the gymnasium that the indie show is going to be on. Like when you're looking at big business, when quote unquote Vince McMahon says you're going to be the WWE champion, before screw the Universal and all that shit. Before, I'm talking about the old school days. If Vince McMahon said you're going to be the WWF heavyweight champion, whatever, he's basically saying we're putting this company on your back. You're going to be the reason people are going to come and see this place, blah, 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 blah. You're going to build up the next group of folks. Anybody that works with you is going to look like $1 million because they're working with you. You can do that with Moxley. I just don't think Moxley cares enough to understand that type of responsibility. I think in a nutshell, all the things people are saying about Punk matter not if Jon Moxley becomes the heavyweight champion and just takes the belt on some damn indie wrestling, backyard wrestling promotion. I mean, that's going to be the equivalent. That's the same thing. It's really shitting on the hand or the company that's feeding you. Like, it's the exact same thing. They decided to make you their champion. You decide to sit there, risk possible injury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it'll honestly, be the same thing.
Kenny Omega is guilty of the same thing. I mean, I don't think if you're going to be a real number 2 company, you don't let them go to the number 3.
You don't let them go anywhere.
Anywhere, you know what I mean? If you're going to be a top guy getting paid that much, I mean, you want some exclusivity, if anything, just for the overexposure factor. And so that's where, but I just wouldn't be surprised, man. Like Jon Moxley, like they want to, like you can see Tony Khan saying, I'm going to create this incredible year for Jon Moxley.
That's what I was about to say. He's created Jon Moxley.
He has.
And I think that's what he's going to do. He's going to finish. I think he's going to
have to win. I do.
Yeah.
I think it would be smart and better, and it would make even more sense. And I think it wouldn't even hurt Jon Moxley that bad to have Bryan Danielson win because he hasn't won this title yet. You fucking brought him in to be your world champion at some point.
Yep.
How are you going to not have the best wrestler in the world be the world champion of your promotion? That's a good person to put it on the waist of. You always had that legitimacy there. He would class up the joint, man. It would be classy.
He would definitely class up the joint, but then when you have people come back or you have other folks come over or you have new folks sit there and wrestle, I think Bryan Danielson is the perfect person to wrestle. Like you don't get the baggage of a CM Punk. You don't get the novice of a Hangman Page. You don't get the choreography of the Bucks. You don't get the midlife crisis of a Chris Jericho. Like he is the perfect person to sit there and put everything on his back and say, watch what I'll do. And plus, it's great for him because this is what he said in the WWE when they were like worried that he couldn't do it. And he did it. He put the company on his back and got over a belt that was made of him.
Yeah, that was like the last great belt variation.
That's what I'm saying. Like he got that over.
Good one. Yeah, so, and he was a heel. He was a good heel. He was annoying. He had some great segments. He had some goofy segments that were still good. Remember when he was fucking around with the concession stands and stuff?
He could definitely take AEW to another level. Now people go, well, Jon Moxley could take AEW to another level.
He's already had a chance. He's already been there. He's already had the belt. He's already done it. He's already had the ball. He's had the ball plenty. His character is strong as shit. He can beat Danielson later. He still has this great year. There's all this great comeback from rehab story. You've already got it. You don't need to go overboard and give him this one too, and then just have a goofy fuck having this title again and kind of wearing people out. Because we've also seen a lot of the Moxley matches because he's overexposed. So you got to go to the guy who just came back. Who's a little underexposed. It doesn't do stupid indie shit. Yes.
He's super overexposed. And truthfully, how do you want to play this? Do you want to say that Moxley is going up against MJF for the title? Like, are you saying, well, we'll put the title on Moxley so we can have the MJF match? Or do you put the title on Moxley and have MJF cash in?
I think that MJF needs to just, if Moxley does win, I'd love to see the title change immediately to MJF somehow. Like total.
Because then I get a Danielson MJF. Or if you let Danielson win, then the next person up for Danielson would be MJF to me. I think that's a better program than John Moxley.
Yep. Even though they just had a good little exchange.
Yeah, but I still think you have a better program with a promo of MJF and a promo from Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, and really, Danielson and Punk they've already done this 1-2 punch before, and it was a very watchable era of pro wrestling in WWE. And if you did that in AEW, it would be great. Just have Punk and Danielson at the tippy top, and kind of work from there. Whichever one's babyface, heel, whatever. Eventually, those two do need to actually clash at your biggest event of the year. You need to define what that is too, Tony. What is the biggest one?
Whatever the next one is.
Tomorrow. AEW tomorrow. So
you would literally go, events, AEW tomorrow is probably going to be the biggest pay-per-view that AEW has had in the past 3 years. The AEW tomorrow has already done more numbers than the past 3 years of previous AEW pay-per-views that are not named AEW tomorrow. And we have a demographic of about, 25 to 42-year-olds that are saying that AEW tomorrow is better than AEW today. That's what Tony Khan would say.
It's the most downloaded customizable ring in the AEW video game. We have that stat. It's
and you'll be sitting there. And you'll be sitting there like, what the fuck? Okay.
AEW tomorrow. That's a crazy name, Tony. He's like, yeah, I thought about it. I was high. All right. So
we had AEW Rampage, and we checked the stats on that. Rampage is the greatest title of any wrestling organization known to man to date.
It was the greatest eighth of a quarter of television
time. So
we're
coming up with AEW Renegade because our words are always better than any other word that you could possibly use for anything wrestling related.
Everyone will have face paint on Renegade. Everyone will have face paint. It's all face paint wrestlers. That's the thing. So that would be amazing, actually. What if your promotion accidentally just had everybody had face paint?
Oh, that would be hilarious. So, but here's the thing. But I mean, I know we were talking about Moxley getting his belt, but here's the thing. What do you do in the meantime? You have all these suspensions. You're trying to right the ship. You're trying to let the news cycle pass, but you have all these quote unquote drama-filled parts to your company right now. That's not just CM Punk. I mean, the news about Thunder Rosa not really being injured. Like, where are these stories coming from? Like,
well,
you have so many leaks.
There's the word on that is that she blew her knee, and that they weren't sure how bad or whatever, but it seems to be a torn ACL or MCL. Whichever one. So that's been reported and refuted. So it's kind of confusing. Right now, the wrestling media is kind of dropping the ball on that, and Tony Khan hasn't commented and said outright. But they've basically crowned a champion, and it's an interim title, and they're still going for the interim title at the Grand Slam event. So I don't know. That she probably is injured. She is another one that I think should have gotten a little more exclusive. She was getting a lot of reps, but she was probably doing more indie shows than anyone else. And then she was basically in AAA. And, you know, she had to pull out of a pay-per-view match in AAA. She had to pull out of the Mexican WrestleMania. So, I mean, that injury is real for sure. You wouldn't skip the AAA Mania. Like, you wouldn't skip that. She was probably going to become the champion.
Right.
So she's going to make some money. So hell no, that injury is not fake. Like, and just there's just confusion as to whether or not it's a knee or something else. But
so you have all of this going on, and you have to kind of right this ship in the process of all of this. Me personally, whatever you need to do with Jade, do it. I think that whole division needs a makeover. I am actually kind of sad that what I thought Athena could bring to that division did not transpire, and I know that's partly booking, but everybody would say, well, she's getting booked with Jade. Like, wouldn't she be showing you who she is and making Jade better, blah 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 blah, and it's just not translating the way I thought it would translate, and I just don't know whose fault that is. I mean,
it's a partially hers in that way. I mean, she's not developing like super quickly, but she needs to get like kind of Lex Luger out of her title. Like, they used to figure out ways to beat Lex Luger. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
you had to figure a way out of beating that behemoth, you know, and just copy one of those finishes or something. I don't know what to do. You got to get out and give her some time away, maybe to train or just take some time off and do something. I don't know.
Well, just take time off so people miss her.
Yeah.
Like, I think what it is okay, you see that she's a rookie, but you don't. I mean, she doesn't have a personality. I mean, even with the baddies, she still doesn't have a personality. You can cuss all you want, but that doesn't give you a personality. I mean, it's just one of those things. And I thought Athena would, I don't know, improve the wrestling at least. And maybe you'll get a decent program, and that didn't happen. But that's also causing a problem for the division, because you have your interim champion and the folks that she's going to wrestle, I don't necessarily think are A-list folks, but I mean, you obviously Britt Baker, but I'm saying I don't think they're A-list folks. It's not a giant pool for her to wrestle. So you're going to have a lot of repeats. And if you're trying to get people's eyes on the right stuff and off the wrong stuff, I'm saying you don't have a big enough group to sit there and go, hey, you go out there and give him a banger. You go out there, and I don't think he has a large enough talent pool to do that.
No, I don't know what you do there. I just think you got to push the ejector seat on that. As far as any other adjustments, I feel like he's made good. Think about it. He's going to have, let's just look at the top titles, I guess. You'll have Toni Storm as your women's champion, even if you whatever, stick with her here or go back to Britt Baker if you want. You could, we're assuming the Acclaimed, which are a pretty hot, fun tag team that look very WWF fun tag team like. Don't they remind you of like New Age Outlaws and shit like that? I mean, they literally are working with one of the New Age Outlaws. So, it's a little on the nose that they're in that category, but they're the fucking tag team that has a mic gimmick, which is a thing that happens every few years. And honestly, the Dudley Boys were that for a while. And then, so hopefully they'll be your champion. So you have that little fun draw thing. And then, I don't know, Danielson, they'll be classing it up right there. And if you keep Pac as this Atlantic champion, or fuck it, give Orange Cassidy the fucking thirdary title, whatever the fuck this thing is, if you want. And then you have your little babyface slacker gimmick. I don't know. I don't think he needs a title. But yeah, I think their adjustments are pretty good. I did want to get to the WWE's biggest piece of news, I think, which is the Saudi Arabian show is happening again. And the crown jewel 2022 because money,
Okay.
because the petrol dollar.
Okay.
Oh shit. Hold on. They're coming after me. No,
I didn't say it.
so anyway,
So
there
it will be one bird after this show because somebody's gonna.
I'll be black bagged. Let me read this from Wikipedia, by the way. This is kind of interesting. In early 2018, the American Professional Wrestling Promotion, WWE, began a 10-year strategic multi-platform partnership. Multi-platform partnership with the General Sports Authority in support of Saudi Vision 2030, Saudi Arabia's social and economic reform program. So that translates into, I don't know, they're part of an initiative to reform their social and economics. Okay.
And we're going to be going through this all the way to 2030.
Yes, at least. I think forever, though. I don't think this is ever going to happen.
Yeah, this is never going away, but I'm just saying, wow, 2030. Okay.
The word was, one of the princes is a wrestling fan. So that's kind of how this whole thing got going. But, they've had stuff in Saudi Arabia in the past. So it's not like it was, like they never, ever did it. You know what I mean? But they also, at one point, actively parodied Saudi Arabia on their television program. We don't want to talk about that. But they've only announced one match, and it is one of Logan Paul's contractually obligated pay-per-view matches, and it is against fucking Roman fucking Reigns. What do you think?
I think this is a gimmick match, if you could call it that. I don't believe that they spent all this capital to make Roman the beast that he is, or the savage that he is, because you got to make sure the terminology is right. I don't think Roman went 2 years to lose to Logan Paul.
Yeah. I don't think that's good.
Yeah, this is a gimmick match for the ages. Now, is it a big money deal? Probably, yeah. So you have it, but I mean, at this point, you've made it so that nobody is believable against Roman, except for the one person that everybody wants that's not even in wrestling now. Like, what you've done is created a basic ecosystem that only would include The Rock and Roman Reigns. No one else will be included. I don't know if that was smart or dumb, but I know it. I know that it's created.
So if The Rock does come back and he just loses to Roman, then what? If it's that's the crazy thing. It's like, can The Rock? He doesn't have time to be the champion. He would at least drop it back real fast or do something quick.
Here's the thing. I think if it happens the way Cena happened, right? I think he drops it quick. Hell, you could have him drop it the next damn night.
To Cena.
No. I'm saying, here's the deal. You build this thing up, right? You finally get the match that everybody's going to fucking pay for and go see, right? And it's The Rock and Roman Reigns in LA. And everybody's going to see it. It's going to be the biggest freaking WrestleMania of all WrestleManias, right? And at the end of the night, The Rock is the head of the table, which sends everyone home happy, right? And everybody's loving it. And the rest of the family tries to interfere to help Roman, and somehow they just don't do it. But the next night, they're going to all come out and they're going to, quote unquote, tell The Rock that he's the head of the table. And then Roman's going to try to get that belt back and ask for a rematch or whatever the fuck it is, right? And in that match, they're going to beat the whole dog shit out of The Rock.
Right.
The whole family.
Wow.
Roman's going to win his belt back, and he's going to stand with one foot on top of the Rock.
Man.
And he's the head of the table. This happens on Raw. You know why this happens on Raw instead of SmackDown?
To give it a rating?
To give it a rating. Everybody wins. Because remember, he's both champions. He could be anywhere. Roman doesn't have to be on SmackDown.
Man.
Well, I'm just saying everybody wins. Everybody goes home happy. That people go home happy. Yes.
It would, business-wise, it would probably happen on Raw because that's Universal and it's not Fox, and The Rock is business-wise tied to Universal now.
Yeah.
So, so that whole scenario makes sense. It would be very sad. It would be very daunting. It would feel like the end of the earth a little bit.
But it has to feel like the end of the earth a little bit because he's not going to come back, he's not going to come back for a while. It would make sense. It also keeps the train moving, but you still get your feel good from Sunday night.
I feel like we got to get to Gunther being a possible player in the top.
Right.
Drew McIntyre win the title,
Drew McIntyre should have won that title in fucking
Cardiff.
That really pisses me off that they missed the boat on that one. They really missed the boat on that one. But hey, what can you do? So
then he turned around in Saudi Arabia and had a title match and just put it back on Roman or done whatever, and maybe gotten Logan Paul involved somehow. Now you're doing this.
Or follow me. The Rock and Roman happens.
So go to the future, okay.
The Rock and Roman happens, and let's say the family beats the shit out of the Rock, so the Rock can still leave strong because it took the whole family to beat the shit out of him.
Sure.
Roman wins at WrestleMania, right?
Yeah.
And then your boy, here you go, and then your boy cashes in the Money in the Bank.
Oh, wait, which one's got the Money in the Bank right now?
Theory.
Totally blank.
Theory.
Oh,
Austin Theory. Which will give him a win over Roman Reigns. And
but then he would need a heel faction.
He would definitely need something or someone to protect him. But it's to the point of if you're gonna piss people off and send people home unhappy about the whole Rock thing, you have to change and give them something. That would be a way.
Another heel champion.
That would be a way to give them something to go home with. And then for a fact Roman is going to get that belt back. So either way it go, it's good for business. It's not going to hurt Roman because of how it happened. And you actually gave the crowd something, although you were taking the Rock away from him. So that could possibly happen.
Well, yeah. We'll see. I think Goldberg's going to come back on this Saudi Arabian show.
And no. So here's the deal. We're going to find out as folks, I need y'all to come back next week and figure out, help us figure out what we're going to do about Grant. In the last few minutes here, I just going to just have a plea for Grant to ditch the lawyers. Seriously, dude. Yeah. Ditch the lawyers. We can all sit down at the table. We sat down at the table to come up with this show. We can all sit down at the table, and you don't need your lawyers to decide.
I invite you into my home, into my room where my children play with their toys. I feed you. We break salt and bread. The kind of shit. Salt and bread. Bread and salt. Medieval shit, bro.
I just have why not have salty bread? Like I don't. What is with this?
You
bread?
do something with it. You break the bread. You got the salt. You go.
You didn't just put the bread in the olive oil.
You can do the olive oil. Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, Grant, he's offering you olive oil. That's like an olive branch.
Yeah. You want some garlic confit, Grant?
I don't know what that is.
It's like garlic smear for your bread.
Oh, okay. See, he's gonna offer you garlic smear. That doesn't
Mm-hmm.
sound tasty at all.
Put a little Asiago cheese on there.
Ooh, this is getting worse. Okay, so he wants to give you some cheese.
Garlic cheesy bread.
Okay, that sounds better. Grant, who doesn't like garlic cheesy bread? Come on.
Right.
Come on. You, Julian, garlic cheesy bread in a room.
In our mouths.
Whoa. Yeah, so on that note, we are the fabulous Threebirds. It's only two of us this week. Hopefully next week we'll be back to three, and we'll see you next week.
Come back.
Wow, he did your thing again. See,
Yeah.
every time we offer the olive branch, you do that.
Hey, I offered the garlic bread branch.